Hollywood sells a bright dream, but the fine print is silence. Tonight, Silent Fame pulls back the velvet curtain on 10 young, handsome gay stars the industry tried to ghost. Breakout roles that vanished, casting calls frozen mid-email, hush clauses burying love, athletic careers stalled the moment truth surfaced. You'll hear who lost momentum for being visible, who fought back by telling their own stories, and which names studios hoped we'd forget. Some revelations are heartbreaking, some infuriating. All are a testament to queer pride. Drop the name treated most unfairly in the comments, hit subscribe, and ring the bell. We don't let Hollywood erase. 1. Chris Salvatore. Chris Salvatore shot to fame as the charming heartthrob of the gay romance Eating Out series, a rising young actor and singer known for his boy-next-door good looks. But after years of playing supportive sons and gay leads, Hollywood's warm welcome suddenly turned cold. In his Candid Out magazine essay, Salvatore recalls landing a role on the Real Friends of WeHo reality show only to be abruptly cut. Certain people didn't want to film with me because I had an OnlyFans. This cruel irony, being excluded for making a living on an adult platform, mirrored a lifetime of double standards. Salvatore says he once believed hiding parts of himself was necessary. Make myself smaller to be accepted. But erasure hurt. When a former castmate quietly blocked and then tried to erase their flirtatious history, Chris felt the wound of judgment he's carried since childhood. Yet, Salvatore's spirit refused to break. Embracing self-acceptance and queer pride, he turned rejection into purpose. He wrote a children's book about unconditional love and cares for dear friends like caregiver Norma, whom people profiled, with the same tenderness he would have given any leading role. No longer shrinking himself, Chris uses OnlyFans on his own terms and speaks out about Hollywood's hypocrisy. He stands proud that, even if studios pretend he doesn't exist, he's speaking his truth. Chris's journey reminds us that visibility has a cost, but also power. The camera may have turned away, but Salvatore is still here, eyes shining, voice strong. What do you think about Chris's story? Leave a comment and let us know below. Subscribe for more untold stories that demand to be heard. 2. Tom Pryor. English actor Tom Pryor seemed destined for stardom. A Royal Academy of Dramatic Art graduate, he nabbed supporting parts in The Theory of Everything and Kingsman as a handsome side character. Then he co-wrote and headlined Firebird, 2021, a sweeping Cold War romance about a Russian soldier and fighter pilot. Firebird finally gave Pryor a starring role. He poured heart and soul into this passion project. Audiences and critics in LGBTQ festivals adored it, calling it an LGBTQ+ love story set during the height of the Cold War. Yet after Firebird's limited release, Hollywood's doors softly closed. There were no Marvel calls or Broadway spotlights. Instead of a triumphant breakthrough, Pryor quietly retreated into indie cinema. In interviews, he spoke of the struggle to get Firebird made. Its financing took the best part of 3 years, with no studio backing. In effect, his talent became invisible to big studios. The very industry that applauds gay stories never bothered casting him again. This felt like cruel silence, as if a gay actor who made his own film could suddenly be ignored by mainstream Hollywood. Still, Pryor stands proud. He co-wrote Firebird to ensure genuine queer stories get told, and he identifies openly as LGBTQ. Even if fame evaded him, he used his agency to create art on his terms. He reminds us, the system may pretend he's nobody, but he's a visionary who won't hide. Have thoughts on Tom Pryor's journey? Drop a comment and let us know. Subscribe and keep listening. These untold stories matter. 3. Peter Porte. Peter Porte's rise felt typical Hollywood magic. After cutting his teeth on The Young and the Restless, 2011 to 12, and Hallmark rom-coms, he was poised for stardom. His boy-next-door charm and all-American looks earned him roles in You're My Best Friend and Netflix's Uncoupled. But behind the scenes, his truth set him apart. Porte is openly gay and quietly married to his husband since 2018. His coming out might have been expected to hurt his prospects. Hollywood often typecasts gay actors. Yet, unlike others, Porte kept working steadily. He even landed major parts, such as the villain's 5-episode arc on Days of Our Lives. Still, his mainstream momentum never spiked. Producers and casting directors largely kept him in niche shows and LGBTQ projects. He's rarely invited to play the straight romantic lead in big studio films. In other words, Hollywood often pretends he doesn't exist as a rugged heartthrob, while happily letting him exist as a supporting gay character. In response, Peter Porte embraces his pride defiantly. He co-hosts remixes of classic Christmas songs, celebrating queer joy, and in interviews, he's positive, saying it's fine to be known for celebrating love of any kind. He told fans on Instagram he wants to cast away any stigma about gay love. He keeps working. His recent roles in Days of Our Lives and Uncoupled prove he's still here, doing fine on his own terms. What do you make of Peter's journey? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of pride amidst Hollywood's silence. 4. Jordan Gavaris. Jordan Gavaris once lit up screens as Felix, the witty gay brother on Orphan Black. His immediate rise made him a fan favorite, and viewers loved his charisma and good looks. But when the show ended, Jordan's career hit a brick wall. He quietly announced in 2017, "I guess I'm gay," his simple coming out statement to Vulture. Unlike the swift acceptance of his Orphan Black fame, his off-screen openness came at a price. Gavaris admitted he knew his openness might cost him roles. "I do believe jobs will be lost, and I do believe jobs will be gained," he told Washington Blade, noting Hollywood's double standards. Indeed, after coming out, Gavaris found fewer offers, at least for big lead parts. Once on a sci-fi series with a built-in fan base, he now mainly picks supporting gigs or theater roles. It's as if the industry acted surprised that Felix the gay hero was played by a real gay man, and quietly moved on. Still, Jordan keeps his head high. He's proud to live authentically and unafraid to tackle LGBTQ stories. He reminds hopeful actors that jobs will be gained too, and he's shown that he can play any role as himself. Gavaris' experience says Hollywood may have sidelined him, but he's not disappearing. He's a model of queer pride, elegant, honest, and ready to break any mold. How do you feel about Jordan's story? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more Silent Star stories. 5. Randy Harrison. Randy Harrison was Queer as Folk's breakout star, playing the vulnerable Justin Taylor from 2000-2005. Overnight, he became the face of a new generation of gay youth on TV. His angelic looks and heartfelt performance made Justin a TV legend. But once Queer as Folk ended, Randy quietly receded from Hollywood's glare. A few guest spots and stage plays followed, but by the 2010s, he was mostly gone from screens. In fact, in 2024, he announced he decided to leave the public eye and retrain as a therapist. Harrison, who is gay, described the industry as tricky for queer actors. Even back in his queer days, he knew coming out could make casting directors nervous. Yet by stepping forward as himself, he lost many of his old fans and studio deals. Hollywood treated his legacy like a closed chapter, acting as if Justin's gentle hero never existed. Years later, Randy is remembered fondly by fans, but rarely by networks. It's a stark example of erasure. The star who brightened screens was quietly written out of Hollywood's future slate. Yet, Randy refused bitterness. He used his platform to speak gently about love and identity, even as he stepped away. He's left a powerful legacy on screen and now helps others in private. In his own words, there's pride in being seen by those who knew him as Justin. Randy Harrison proves that you can outgrow Hollywood's lists, but still stand proud. Sound off on Randy's journey below. And be sure to subscribe for the next untold story. 6. Colton Haynes. Colton Haynes once seemed destined for teen heartthrob status. On Teen Wolf and Arrow, his chiseled jaw and piercing eyes helped him win legions of fans. But after coming out in 2016, Haynes found those doors closing. In interviews, he admitted, "I played straight characters my whole career. Then I came out, and now the opportunities aren't there." That brutally honest confession came from Out magazine, a spotlight on how quickly Hollywood forgets even a handsome star. Within months of his announcement, Colton saw projects evaporate. He lost a CW pilot and struggled to land any major roles. Sponsors and producers suddenly labeled him too gay to play straight leads. It felt like Hollywood was whispering. He no longer fit the mold of the heartthrob young fans expected. Overnight, Colton went from cover boy to cautionary tale. Yet, Colton refused to vanish. He threw himself into self-care, charity work, and rebuilding his confidence. In recent years, he's enjoyed parts on smaller shows like Arrow, and even reality appearances that remind us he still shines on camera. Every time he smiles in public, he says, "I'm not hiding anymore." His resilience shows. Even if studios treat him like a forgotten name, his pride and talent still light up the night. How does Colton's story strike you? Comment below and join our community by subscribing for more voices from the sidelines. 7. Michael Sam. Michael Sam made history in 2014 as the first openly gay man drafted into the NFL. At Missouri, he was a star defensive end. Draft day felt like destiny. But after that first Instagram kiss with his boyfriend, everything changed. Sam's name was announced late in the 7th round, and by the next year, his NFL dream was over. After being cut by the Rams and a brief stint on Dallas's practice squad, he ended up retiring from football entirely. In those months, Michael went from national sensation to an athlete with an asterisk on his record, one more quietly pushed out. But Sam never gave up his pride. He reunited with Canada's Montreal Alouettes, and in 2015 also starred on Dancing with the Stars, a platform where he proudly danced hand in hand with his partner. He even moved to Texas and started a podcast, saying he's doing just fine sharing his experiences. In a Sports Illustrated interview a decade later, he reflected on coming out as a relief. "When I came out, it was like I'd ripped off a Band-Aid. Why didn't I do this sooner?" Michael Sam's story is bittersweet. He proved that being true to yourself can cut through fear. Though the field may no longer hear his cleats, his life and activism continue to inspire young LGBTQ athletes. His pride lives on every time fans mention his name. Let Michael's journey sink in and share your thoughts below. To hear more silent heroes, subscribe and stay engaged. 8. Lance Bass. In the late 90s, Lance Bass was a household name as the bass singer in NSYNC. Teen girls swooned, MTV played his every move, and a solo career was on the horizon. But when he came out as gay on a People cover in 2006, Lance's future took a dark turn. He remembers it plainly. "It was definitely a career killer," he told People. He'd had a CW sitcom pilot lined up until his announcement. "Studios had to believe you're straight to play a straight character," he said, "and every casting director I knew couldn't look at you as anything other than that." In other words, after publicly being gay, Hollywood pretended Lance no longer existed as a leading man. Lance lost everything: roles, agents, momentum. For years, he stepped off stage and screen to rebuild himself. But he emerged stronger. He married Michael Turchin, and they adopted 2 children, and Lance found new purpose advocating for LGBTQ rights. On his podcast, he encourages closeted youth to stay hopeful. Most recently, he's returned to the spotlight on reality TV and even Broadway, showing off his joy and humor. The star who once felt erased is now living fully. Lance's story is a testament. Even if you're knocked off your path, pride will light a new way. Inspired by Lance's bravery. Tell us how it resonates and be sure to subscribe for more empowering untold tales. 9. Matt Dallas. After Kyle XY made him a teen idol, Matt Dallas seemed unstoppable. His boyish grin and heartthrob looks landed movie, parts, and music video gigs. Yet there was a secret Hollywood didn't want to see. Dallas was gay, and in 2013 he finally declared it openly. That freedom came with a price. Offers dried up. He found that staying closeted was part of the price of playing straight characters. Once a leading man in a sci-fi hit, he was suddenly treated as if he'd never existed. In interviews, Dallas says he was told to hide being gay when he was young, afraid his honesty would ruin his career. But the honesty changed Matt. He moved to Colorado to put family first, made a horror film on his own terms, and lives openly with his husband and son. In a recent interview, he says coming out freed him. He now plays roles that matter to him, even those that previously seemed off limits. His fans still remember the star he was and now celebrate the proud man he is. Dallas proves, Hollywood may turn away a gay actor, but life goes on in brighter colors. How does Matt's journey strike you? We'd love to hear. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of courage. 10. Jason Collins. Jason Collins was at the twilight of his NBA career when, in 2013, he took a historic step. He quietly announced he was gay, making him the first active player in a major US men's sports league to come out. In that moment, even as he wore the Brooklyn Nets jersey, Hollywood and sports media suddenly acted as if he'd vanish. Although Collins did sign with the Nets soon after and even played games to cheering crowds, he retired in 2014 at age 34. His last season was filled with headlines about his courage and career-ending stigma. In effect, the spotlight turned off. Hollywood barely blinked. Collins didn't fade away quietly, though. He embraced his role as a trailblazer. He partnered with Nike and continued speaking at schools and rallies. Reflecting a decade later, he told SI, "There was so much support. I thought, why didn't I do this sooner?" By refusing to shrink, Collins sent a powerful message. A gay athlete can still stand tall. He proved that authenticity can survive where once only silence prevailed. Jason's story ends on a note of bittersweet triumph. He lost the basketball career he knew, but gained the freedom to be himself. What do you think about his pioneering journey? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe for more untold stories where pride prevails. Those were 10 lives Hollywood tried to paper over, but silence never erases truth. If one story made you angry, moved you, or changed how you see a favorite star, say so below. Who deserves a comeback? Drop a comment, smash subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. If you want deep dives, receipts, and more untold chapters from queer history and entertainment, hit the bell. Silent Fame will keep digging, and will keep standing with the voices the industry wanted to bury. See you in the next video.